I was working from a revenue goal. So it kind of not muddies up, but it changes the incentives of your decisions when you're based on revenue rather than fulfillment, or rather than trying, okay, what's the tooling of this offer that adds the most value and actually builds a business. Like I said, we kind of talked about off camera. My goals were to stay lean, and to have no more than a few people, because I just see what the trends of like where this industry and where a lot of other industries are headed with AI and everything. That
Just a little reflective exercise here. Is there stuff that jumps out to you that you're like, man, if I could just have 10 of those, life would be good, versus maybe the opposite of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, like I said, and I told you before, to very much be critical. Like, how can we take this objective thing, and like, I know we're smiling and we're friendly, but like, how can we take what we have and actually make it a business, right? And that's what I said, is that, I mean, very much saying yes to way too much in the beginning. But in terms of past experience, a lot of times what I've learned, Dustin, is that the projects I enjoy doing the most also aren't the, I think anyone in business learns, like, you start doing it for like a self fulfilling reason, and you find like, oh man, like, it doesn't add a ton of value to the right person. Um, so like the 3K landing page offer, I found to get the best response from a certain audience, someone who needs that deliverable right away. And a lot of times it is people who are launching a book, they're establishing a course, or they just want a one page landing page. Say, I need something out quick. And the time to value is a big part in that. And I haven't niched down to a particular industry in that core deliverable. What I found too is that the a lot of my portfolio, is like healthcare and tech, and those are the more custom scope projects, and those do take time. And also, a lot of times, a lot of people want a lot of the stakeholders in this project, they want to work with an agency a lot of times. So it's not something that I feel aligned with like my bigger goals moving forward of staying lean. They want to see that social proof. They want to see we have 8 or 9 developers on our team. Here are their photos on our website, sort of thing. They don't as much value the high touch nature of what I want to be. They more so value the expertise, the proven processes, everything like that. And they want to be, they're paying to have the best high quality niche service done. It always makes so much sense to hear someone else tell their story than it does to tell your own. You're like I listened to you, Dustin, you tell your story about, where you started, and then the Meat Sticks transition and how it led you to podcast guesting. That had the story brand chapters in there. You had just the whole thing seems like, yeah, the natural equation. I think part of that is when you tell it well, it makes more sense. But also it's like when, lights, camera, action on me, it's like I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, and I'm just trying to like figure it out in the meantime, right?
And I feel the same way every day. So yeah, it's easy, it's easier to look back, and that's why it's always a challenge to look forward. And I always say, like when I'm doing this for myself or with clients, like whatever you described for 3 years is not going to actually be what happens. So don't put the pressure on like you're committing to it in any way. God, the universe, whatever is going to shift any of it.
What I can envision being the easiest is very niche, because you talked about matching those two together. And I've seen it like the whole gamut of like where websites, and so some industries I don't even need websites, right? Where you can work purely organic, and a website that's within the scope of deliverable doesn't match where you want. And there's been so many times where, I mean, it's the crux of the implementation done with you offer is that they either don't want to invest in the website itself, or their industry just doesn't need it. And a lot of times I refer people to Wix, Squarespace, Cardco is a really good one, or the native tools, the native marketing tools that they're currently using, and just like record walkthroughs on how they can do that stuff. Um, and that sort of the position seat of like the trusted resource for all things websites is kind of where I want to sit, and then I can more strategically play the chess pieces in terms of what offers look like. But if I and I've gone on a lot of long walks thinking about, okay, what is that offer audience fit that is, right in the middle, that is that bucket of popcorn.